welcome to another video. So today I have a video that I don't expect to be doing on my channel very often just because there's no reason for me to. It is a December book haul, and usually I don't buy enough books to warrant doing a book haul. I have like my Fairy Loot book and then one or two book of the month books, and then maybe I buy one more, but usually I'm not buying a ton of books. However, December was a crazy month and I figured I might as well gather them all and show them to you since I have them. And they're the books I will be picking up first over the next few months, so I figure I might as well just show you what's coming up. So we have a stack of like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 books, maybe 20. It was a lot, and there's a few reasons why. So to start out, we have The Last Wish by Andrzej, I can't pronounce his name at all, Sapkowski. This is the first book in the book series that inspired the Witcher video game and also the Witcher Netflix show. And I bought it because I really wanted to read it so that my boyfriend and I can play the Witcher video game together as well as watch the show with some context. And so I have read this. I bought it and read it in December for the Creating & Co. Treat Your Shelves readathon. Next we have Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schult. And I don't know anything about this book except that there were like some queen assassinations, I guess, because of the title. And I got this because it was one of the few books on Book of the Month at the time that I was mildly interested in, and it had been on a couple of bookish Facebook groups that I'm in. So people had been talking about it and they seemed to like it, so I figured I would give it a try. Next, I have Wicked As You Wish by Rin Chupeco, and this is a book that was one of two books that came in the December Fairy Loot box. This is an ARC. This actually releases March the 3rd, and so hopefully I'll read this before then so I can get like an advanced review out so that you can actually decide if you want to pick it up on release day. And all I know about this is nothing, whatever it says on the back, and I actually read that out to you in my December Fairy Loot unboxing, so I'll just leave it at that. The second book I got in my December Book of the Month is called Hearts, Strings, and Other Breakable Things by Jacqueline Firkins. And I don't know anything about this, and it's outside of my comfort zone because it's like a contemporary romance, and I don't read contemporary romance at all, really. So we'll see how that goes. I'm skeptical, but again, December for me wasn't a great Book of the Month so I just picked it up because it was the least objectionable book there at the time. Next, we have a book I'm very excited about, An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I've been hearing so much about this book and I really want to read it, and all that I've heard about it, I don't really understand at all what it's about, but I'm gonna find out. And as you can see here, I got it for $10, and that's part of why I have so many books. I bought 12 books at a store called Half Price Books that is not up in the Northeast. Half Price Books I know is in Texas and maybe other places. I don't know where all of their branches are, but I stopped by while I was in Dallas visiting my parents, and it was a big deal. I had no chill. I got 12 books and I was very excited. It took up half the space in my suitcases, but I was prepared. I went home with an extra empty suitcase because Southwest lets you bring 2 checked bags for free. I only need one for my clothes and the other was for my loot. Okay. The official Fairy Loot Book of the Month book is 8 Will Fall by Sarah Harrion. And this book is about like a place where magic is outlawed, and then people have to go like deep into some kind of caverns to do something. I don't know. Next, we have Sword of Destiny, the second book in the Witcher series. I haven't read this one yet. And I read the first one hoping that the first season of the Witcher Netflix show would only go through the first book. But I'm pretty sure it took elements from this book as well. So that was disappointing because I was like, I want to be on top of what the show is doing. But now I have plenty of time to read the next several books before the next season comes out. So I will definitely be doing that. Winterwood by Shea Earnshaw. This is a book that I bought for the Creating & Co. Treat Your Shelves Readathon because this was the group read, or one of them. We had two options for the group read, and honestly, not a fan. Winterwood follows this girl who finds a boy in the woods. She lives in the woods and is part of a long line of witches. This boy is from a boys' camp that is across the lake from where she lives. There's this big snowstorm. He goes missing. Another person is said to be dead, and the whole time they're kind of trying to piece together why, what happened that night, why was this boy missing, how did he survive almost 2 weeks in the woods in the winter. And I found it a little too angsty. If you like angsty dramatic books, then this might be for you, but it was not my thing. I read it, I was not a fan. Okay, and I have been putting these books aside as I come across them so that I can show them to you all at once. Also from Half Price Books, I got the entire Ruby Red trilogy, and I am very excited about these. They're by Kirsten Gier. They're translations from German, I believe. I think the original series is in German. And first of all, these covers are gorgeous. Do you see? This is the first book, called Ruby Red. The second book is called Sapphire Blue. And then the last book is called Emerald Green. Half Price Books had 2 of the paperbacks and then 1 hardcover. This is what the hardcover editions look like. And I'm very excited. I read Ruby Red for the first time in high school, and then I didn't get to finish Sapphire Blue, and when I was reading this, Emerald Green wasn't even released yet. And so now they're all 3 released, and I have all 3 of them, and I get to read the series and finish it and see what's going to happen. It is about a girl who is part of a line of time travelers, I think, and it's believed that like that particular gene didn't come to her, and she hasn't been trained to kind of have these powers. There are other people in her family who have been prepared to use these powers, trained in like the rules of time travel, what to do, what not to do, and things like that. There's this whole secret society for time travelers and things like that. And then she starts to make some time traveling jumps, and things go crazy because nobody expected it. It's good. I really liked the first book, at least what I remember of it. Next we have Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. So ironically, or not ironically, weirdly, I already own Six of Crows and I've never read it. I've owned it for years. I have owned it since high school, I think, maybe my sophomore year of high school, because it has black sprayed edges and I thought those were cool when I saw them in a thrift store, and then I never read the book. And then recently, while being on BookTube, I've seen people actually talking about these books, and I realized that I actually owned the first one, so I might as well read the duology. And they had Crooked Kingdom at the Half Price bookstore, so I picked that up while I was there. Next, we have a pair of books by Melissa Landers. Starflight and Starfall. I believe this is the first and this is the second of a series. And I picked these up because when I was doing the Book Junkie trials, and I think now they're called the Boogie Trials. I started to listen to the audiobook of Starfall because I thought this was the first book in the series, and then I was really confused because it seemed like our character was in the middle of something, and I looked it up and it turned out that this was the second book, that this was the first book, and at the time Scribd didn't have this book available, so I stopped listening to it at all and just forgot about it. But then I saw both of these at the bookstore, half-price books, while I was home, and I decided, you know, I'm going to try them because I was interested in the premise of this one, so maybe reading the first one I can actually get there. Oh no, my books are falling. I fixed it. Next, we have Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim, and I'm very excited about this book. As I understand it, it's kind of like a Mulan retelling, and there's a girl who works in a tailor, as a tailor? Yes. And there's like a competition to design some kind of dress or something, and I'm just excited. I love fairy tale retellings, and this one has been widely talked about and well reviewed, so I'm excited to get to it, and the cover is so pretty. Do you see it? I love it. So I was very excited when I found this. Next, we have Eon, I think it's Eon, by Alison Goodman. And this is a book that has been around for a long time, as in I've seen it here and there and never read it. It was in my high school library. I passed it several times and I never picked it up. And I finally did because it was $5, and it's about a girl that is fighting. She's like a warrior or something. She's been trained to do something that I guess boys usually do because no one knows that she's a girl. So Eon is her alias, and I'm excited to see where this goes. There is a second book called Eona, and Eona is her real name. So in this book she goes by Eon, and then the second book is Eona, so I don't know what's gonna happen. It's pretty hefty. It smells good. Okay. We're coming down to the last few. So this is called A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. It is the second book in the An Ember in the Ashes book series. The third one, A Reaper at the Gates, recently came out, and then the fourth one people are anticipating to come out at the end of 2020 or maybe early 2021, I believe. So I figured if I did like An Ember in the Ashes, I would want to have this one on hand as well. So I picked it up while it was at the bookstore. Next, we have To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. And this is about something. Oh, it's about sirens and mermaids. And I picked this up because it was I think it was the group read for a Creating & Co. readathon in June. I think it was June. And people were talking about it and they liked it, and I like the cover a lot, so I wanted to try to read it. It's about a princess that does something. It's reminiscent of The Little Mermaid, I believe, but like evil mermaids or something. And then the last book of this haul was a super buy, heavily discounted. It has a bit of dust jacket wear right here going on, but that's okay. I don't need all my books to be perfect. It's called 1,000 Nights by E.K. Johnston, and this is a retelling of Arabian Nights. So it's about a king who has killed, at the top it says he has killed 300 girls in a village while looking for a wife. He takes them, spends an evening with them, and then usually they're dead by morning. However, one of these girls is able to stay alive past that first night by telling him a story. and she keeps telling him the story, trying to stay alive. And because he wants to hear the story, he keeps her alive night after night. And then I think eventually the story that she's telling, certain elements of it actually start to come to life. And I'm very excited by this book. Doesn't it sound so interesting? I think so. So I'm gonna read that. Okay, I'm going to count again just to see exactly how many that was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. How did we get 19 the first time? Okay, 18 books in the month of December. Highly unprecedented. I don't usually buy that many books at a time. That being said, I do think I will start to bulk buy my books a little more often from places like Book Depository or the Book Outlet, just because they're cheaper. But not for a while. I have a lot of books now. I have 18 new ones, and then Fairy Loot keeps sending me a book every month because I have their subscription. And yeah, so I have plenty to read. And I also subscribed to Scribd because I wanted access to their audiobooks because I started going to the gym again. I went to the gym for the first time today. I ran on a treadmill and I did a mile in 20 minutes. So it was sad, but it was glorious. And yeah, so that's all from me today. If you've liked what you've seen, please be sure to like, comment, and or subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye.